Hello there! This is MusicMan0150, also known as Gary. And yes, I am back with another video. And today's presentation is going to consist of a very, very famous arcade game from the early 80s from the PC. And the game that we're going to feature is called Battle Chess. I'm sure a lot of you that had the DOS operating system on the IBM PC, the IBM PC XT, AT, 286, 386, and maybe even the 486 computer probably remember this game. And so what I've done here is I got the game set up on the title screen so that you can see how it loads at the title screen. And I'm using a Tandy 1000 TL computer. It's the only one that I have that's working right now that will run this game. Now I also have a 486 machine that will also run this game. The only thing about the 486 right now is that I have to put in a new processor fan so that the processor doesn't burn up, and I just haven't had a chance to do that. And once I get that installed and test the computer out, make sure it's working, and then load this game on there, it should be working fine. So what we're going to do is we're going to try doing a demonstration of this game. In fact, I'm going to play one game in its entirety until either my king is captured or the computer's king is captured, so that you can see exactly how each piece disappears from the game board. And the way I'm doing this right now is I'm using my little Pixio JVC camera, and it's aiming at an RCA 14-inch television monitor combination, and hopefully the screen won't be blanking out so that you'll be able to see everything. And then once I get the 486 machine running, what I can do there is I can attach a video source. It's a video distribution device that allows the conversion of VGA to composite video, and I can actually do another demonstration of the game with that computer directly. In fact, I just thought of something. I have another machine that's a I believe it's probably a Pentium Pentium 3 or Pentium 2. I think it's a Pentium 3 because it only runs Windows 98 efficiently. I mean, it could run Windows Millennium, it could possibly run Windows XP, but I have it set up for Windows 98 for all the classic games from the 2000s and early, in late 90s actually, for that system. So maybe I can load Battle Chess on that and run it directly, and then I can have it directly into the capture card of another computer, and you'd be able to see it really, really well. Now, as far as sound goes, I don't know what we're going to do about that. So, but anyway, let's get on with this, and I'm going to just try to stand out of the way as I pick a piece and have it move so that you can see what's happening. So what we're going to do first is we have to hit the enter key, which I just did, and it tells you that if you have a joystick, press enter or yes. If you do not have a joystick, then you press escape or for no. So it's enter for yes and escape for no. So being that we don't have a joystick for this Tandy 1000, we're going to hit the escape key on the keyboard for no, and now the game should load. And now we have the chessboard. And now we're ready to start the game. And I'm going to make sure that the sound is up on the computer so you can hear it. It's up all the way. I haven't been able to find a little patch cable that I can put into an external speaker to make it louder. But you should be able to hear the sound all right. The air conditioner's running, so that's what you hear in the background. But we should be able to hear the sound okay. So, with that, we're going to get started on this game. And as you can see, the White Knight, I call it the White Knight because he's on a light square, and usually the chessboard is white and black. But in this case, it's turquoise and black, but we're going to consider the turquoise white. So the White Knight is highlighted right now, and actually I'm going to go ahead and move him. So what I do is I press the enter key, and you can move the knight up 2 and over 1, or you can move him up 1 and over 2. But being that there's a pawn there in the space, that would allow the knight to move 2 across, you can't do it. See, because the square is green. So what we're going to do is we're going to move the knight up 2 and over 1. There's a blue square, and now I'm going to press enter, and he will move. Okay, now as you can see, the computer is thinking. And he moved his black knight because it was on a black square. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and move my White Knight up 1 and over 2. Okay, now as you can see, the Black Knight moved again. See, what's happening is I make a move, and then the computer makes a move. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to move my knight again, the white one, and I'm going to go up 1 and over 2 again, and then I'm going to leave him there. And the reason I'm going to leave him there is because I want to try and capture the queen up 2 and over 1. No, it won't work. No, I'm sorry, that won't work. It'll capture the pawn in front of the queen, so I don't want to do that. So now I'm going to take my other knight, which is the Black Knight, and I'm going to go up 1 and over, actually up 2 and over 1 to the right. Because if I go over to the left, there's a good chance that the computer's Black Knight will capture my White Knight. So now let's see what happens next. Okay, the White Knight of the computer is now moving down to the next row. Yeah, he's now in line with the computer Black Knight. Okay, now I'm going to take my Black Knight, even though he's on a white square, he started out black. So now I'm going to take that knight, and I'm going to go up 1 and over 2. See, the object of the game is to try not to let your pieces get captured as many times before the computer's pieces are captured. And there's been times I've played this game many, many times, And it does have a feature where if you do make a mistake in a move, you can take the move back and try another move. But a lot of times what I'll try to do is I'll try to play the game without taking any moves back. So it helps me to think logically on each move. And sometimes you have to look at the board real carefully, especially when you got all kinds of pieces all over the board. You have to look real carefully to make sure that you don't make a wrong move and your piece gets captured. Especially your high value pieces, like your knights are the 4th value, your bishops are the 3rd value, the rooks are the 2nd value, and the queen is the 1st value. And the reason for that rating is because of the way they can move. The bishops can only move diagonally. The rooks can go up and down and side to side, but they can't go diagonal. The queen is your most powerful piece. That can move any direction. And that's the one you want to try not to get captured. Otherwise, it's very, very tricky to win the game unless you can get a pawn all the way across the board and be able to promote it to another piece, which this game allows you to do. You can promote a pawn to one of the other 4 pieces, either a knight, a bishop, a rook, or a queen. And I usually try to go for the queen if I can. In case my first queen gets captured, I can always try getting a 2nd queen. So, let's see what the computer's done. Okay, he's moved a pawn up 2 spaces next to my black knight, or yeah, I think it is the black knight. Well, anyway, we're just gonna consider the left knight and right knight, or however you want to consider it. Knight 1, knight 2, bishop 1, 2. We'll figure it out as we go. But anyway, you can see how this pawn is right there by that knight. Now, if I don't move him, that pawn may capture my knight. So what I'm going to do is I can either go down this way, down 1 and over 2, or I can go up 1 and over 2. Up 1 and over 2 looks safe, so that's the way I'm going to go. Get him out of the way of that pawn. Okay, now we're going to see what the computer does. Oh, look. The black bishop from the computer, he just took one of my knights. Okay, so that was my first error. That's usually what happens when I play this. Whenever I play this and that one pawn moves up 2 spaces and I got the knights in the positions that you saw, I never think twice and prevent that other knight from being captured. So now I just lost 1 knight. So now what I'm going to do is now it's time to start getting some pawns out. So let's see, which pawn should I take first? Okay, I think I'm going to move. Yeah, I'm going to move this pawn here. Okay, now there's a good chance that if the bishop moves, then I can go ahead and capture that knight, but then I still got a pawn to worry about that could capture my pawn. So we got to see what the computer's going to do first. As you can see up there in the upper left-hand corner, he's thinking again. Okay, the knight is moving. So the computer knew that I might have captured his knight. Okay, now what I'm going to do next is I'm going to take another pawn. I'm going to try to trick the bishop by moving up 2 spaces. Okay, now as you can see, that pawn could capture the bishop, or that bishop could capture the pawn. Ah, did you see the bishop? He moved. Uh-oh. I think this is going to be a very short game, because look at what the bishop did. He went and captured the pawn, which I'll consider in this case pawn number 6, right diagonal of the king. And now my king got captured, and the game is over. So that was a very short game. Had I not let that one knight be captured, I think we would have had a longer game. So we're going to try again. We're going to try again with another game. So as you can see, the game is over. King got captured, and once the king is captured, it's checkmate. And in this case, I lost. So we're going to start over, and we're going to do the same moves, the first couple moves the same way, but this time we're going to see if the computer does the same moves, and then we're going to try a different strategy. So let's see here. Okay, we're going to take this knight on the left, move him up again like we did. I believe that's where I moved him the first time. If it isn't, then this is going to be a totally different strategy on the game. Because sometimes I can't remember from one game to the next what moves I've made, even in the beginning. I try to, so that way I can, you know, build from there the strategy on how to win this game. Okay, so let's see. I'm going to take this knight again, move him over here, and I think this is, yeah, these are the moves I did make. These are the moves I did make. The only difference is it looks like the computer did a different move. He moved his right knight first. Now he's moving his left knight. No, he isn't. He's moving the right knight. Okay, so his knight is in position to capture a pawn, which is not going to happen because I got a queen in front of one. The king is protecting the one in front of the queen and the one in front of the white bishop. So I don't need to worry about that. So we're going to go ahead and take this knight over here, and let's see. Oh, I forgot to select it. Okay, now, I could put him there, but I'm not going to put him there. And the reason I'm not going to put him there is because I'll show you. This knight here can go back 1 and over 2, and he'll capture him again. So I'm not going to do that. I'm going to leave that one there, and I'm going to take this knight over on the right and move him over here. Now, as you can see, the computer's thinking again. Okay, now the computer brought out his second knight. He's going to try and capture my first knight, but I don't think he can. Let's see if he goes down 1, down 2, and over 1. Nope. And if he goes down 1 and over 2, no. So that knight is safe. That's the one nice thing about this game. If you notice, if you don't select a piece, you have a highlighted square, and you can actually analyze the moves of each piece in advance to try to help you to win the game even easier. So in this case, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the right knight of the red pieces, which are mine, and I'm going to go up 1 and over 2. Because if I go up 2 and over 1, there's a good chance that the blue knight on the right will capture my red knight. So I'm going to go over here where the blue square is. Because then he'll be on the same row as the blue knight. Now the computer's thinking again, and we're going to see what happens next. Okay, now look at this. All the knights are in a row. My 2 are on the ends, and the computer knights are in the middle. Now I'm gonna start doing some strategy moves here. I'm gonna leave my knights alone, and I'm going to take this pawn in front of the black bishop. I'm gonna move him up 1. Now you're probably saying, oh, well, that other knight might get him. I don't think so, because I got 2 pawns protecting this pawn, because if you have a pawn moved up 1 space and the 2 adjacent on either side are on the previous space, you can move those diagonally. A pawn will move diagonally if there's a piece adjacent forward 1 space. I'll show you. Okay, now I just moved that pawn up 1 space to try and capture one of the computer's knights. Now let's see what happens with the computer, what he's going to do. Is he going to move the 1 knight out of the way, or is he going to take his other knight and capture my pawn? He moved his 1 knight out of the way. Now I could really be in trouble, because this knight can go down 1, 2, and over 1 and capture the pawn, and this knight can go down 1 and over 2 and capture the pawn. But I don't think that's going to happen, because as I said, this pawn here and this pawn over here are protecting this pawn. So let's see if we can move. Yeah, I think I'm going to go ahead and let's see here. Now this is where you have to think a little bit, because you want to make sure that you don't make the wrong move to possibly get a piece captured. Okay, so let's see here. All right. Where's my blue square now? What piece did I select to give me a blue square? Oh, right there. Okay, so this pawn here I selected, and I didn't see the red square. If you select it, if you select the piece, it turns green, and then the moves are in blue, and the starting point of that piece is red. I don't know if you could see it in the on the camera or not. But that's the color code. So let's see. I just turned that one back to blue. Gotta look at this a minute. Let's see here. I think, well, let's see. I think I'm gonna go ahead and move, yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and move this pawn, because this pawn here is still protecting that pawn there, and even my knight is protecting that pawn that's up there in the black spot. That's pawn 3 of my group. So I'm going to move pawn 4 of my group and see if I can capture the computer's knight on the right. Let's see what happens. He's thinking away. So let's see what happens. Okay, the computer is backing off. You can see how he backed off his knight. So now pretty much I got a free play here. Alright, so what I'm going to do now is, let's see, I could either move my knight, which I think I'm going to do. I'm going to take this knight over here and I'm going to move him right there. Okay, so now that gives me an opportunity to possibly capture one of the computer's pawns, but that's going to have to wait until those other pieces are out of the way. Preferably, I'd like to get pawn number 2 of the computer's row, going from left to right. It would be pawn number 2 that I would want to try to capture. And then possibly get the queen. I don't know if that'll work. The only way that would work is if the bishop moves out of the way. So we're going to try to see what we can do here. Now notice pawn number 5 of the computer moved forward 2 spaces. So now I'm basically in trouble because the computer's queen can come down diagonally and get the knight over here on the right. So I better move him out of the way. So I'm going to put him over here where I put the blue square. I could have moved him up, but I thought, I better move him back. That's less chance of him getting captured. So we'll see what happens now. See what the queen's going to do if she moves. Now sometimes when the computer thinks, it could take a little while, but so far his thinking processes are very short. Okay, you could see how he moved down, or she moved down two diagonal spaces. So it's starting to get a little tricky here because what I got to try to do is block the queen from coming here and then coming down to here and then capture the king. So the best way to do that is I'm going to move pawn number 7 out of my group up 1 space. I'm going to try that. Put the pawn there. That's number 7. And now the computer's thinking. We're going to see what happens next. Okay, the knight is... Okay, the computer knight moved in front of the queen. Now let's see. What is his strategy? He's going to try to get that pawn. So I think the best bet is to not move either this pawn or this pawn, which would be 6 and 8 out of my group. I'm not going to move those. Because then if he does capture that pawn, then I'll capture his knight with another pawn. Now, I think what I'm going to try doing here, I'm going to take my white bishop and go up 2 spaces and see if that will trick the knight to move. And if it doesn't, then I can always move him back. So that way it doesn't get captured by another piece. Okay, the black bishop just captured that knight. Oh dear. I missed it again. I missed that one again. Okay. Alright. Now it's time to start getting even. So I'm going to take pawn number 2 out of my group and go up to where it's possible that it could capture the black bishop, the computer's black bishop. We'll see what happens. And if the computer black bishop makes a wrong move, then I can actually take another pawn and capture the computer's bishop. Oh, look what happened here. The knight captured pawn number 3 out of my group. So it didn't even give me a chance to protect the pawn number 2. Alright, well now we're going to start challenging the computer for sure. I'm going to take my queen because it's the most powerful piece, and I'm going to go up diagonally 2 spaces so she's on the left of the knight. Now the only thing is, I got to be careful because if that blue pawn, computer 5, or the number 5 computer pawn moves forward, and then I go to capture the knight, the computer queen will capture my queen. But let's see what happens. So I'm going to go ahead and move my queen up diagonally 2 spaces. Let's see what happens with the one of the computer's knights. See which one's going to move. Now this is where the computer is going to think a little bit, so hopefully it won't take too long. Oh, there we go. Okay, the bishop, the computer's black bishop moved into a position where I can't capture the knight, because otherwise my queen will get captured. So that's the whole trick of this thing. So the only thing I can do, I mean, there's several options here I can use. I can take pawn number 5 out of my group, move him up 1, and if the bishop captures him, I still can get rid of the bishop. Or the knight will get him. It's a tough decision because any combination of moves here, I could lose a piece. I could lose several pieces. So let's see here. I think I'm going to take my queen. No. Well, I only have one knight. The other one got captured. So I'm going to take the pawn in front of the queen and move him up 1 space. That would probably be a logical move there. So we'll see what happens here. Okay, now the knight, the computer's knight, just moved into a position where now he captured pawn number 5 out of my group. However, well, let's see what the situation looks like when he's done. Okay. Oh, let's see here. Let's use my square. Okay, down 2 over 1. Okay. Okay, I got a good move here. I can take my king and capture that knight. And then I'll just have to make sure I move the king back. See, the computer actually made a dumb move there. So now the computer has one knight and I have one knight. As you can see there, the computer's got one knight and I got one knight. So now we're even with the knights. So now let's see what the computer strategy's next move is. Black bishop going down to get my one rook. The rook on the left. He got that rook on the left. Okay. Well, that's not a problem, because I still got a rook over here on the right. But it would have been better if I would have been able to keep two rooks. But like I said, the queen is the most powerful, so all we got to do is take her, move her down next to the bishop, and I'll bet you that bishop's going to get out of the way, so he can't get captured. If he doesn't move, then obviously the computer made a wrong move if he doesn't want to get captured. So we'll see here. Aha! See, the bishop's moving out of the way. Now, as long as I keep my queen in the white squares, there's no way that that black bishop can get her. There's no way. Because he's only allowed to move on black squares. So I moved my queen up to a white square to see what the computer bishop's going to do. This is basically what you call strategy play. You try to trick the computer from winning. Okay. Now the knight is up to something. He is. He is. And I am now in a big spot. Actually no. Actually no. I'm going to risk taking my knight and get rid of his knight, because otherwise what's going to happen is I'm going to lose if I move the king out of the knight's move, I'm going to lose the queen. So I'd rather lose a knight over his knight, and then that way I still got my queen. That's sometimes you have to make that kind of move in order to keep your most powerful piece. So at least now, then sometimes depending on the moves and the positions of the pieces, the knights can actually overpower all the other pieces. So in this case, we got rid of the computer knight, and most likely my knight is going to get captured as well. So there'll be no more knights. They'll be gone. So then all we'll have left is pawns, bishops, rooks, queens, and that's basically it. Because the kings, they don't battle each other. It just doesn't happen. The kings don't battle each other. I've always tried to get the king to battle the other king, but it doesn't work. The game doesn't allow that. It's not meant to happen. So, as you can see, I lost my knight, but that's okay, because I lost. The knight tried to capture my king, the computer knight, that is. So now let's see, what kind of position are we in next? Not too good, actually. So let's see. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take, I'm going to take this rook. It's the only one left. And I'm going to move him in front of this pawn, pawn number 6, because the queen, whoops. Okay, good. I didn't hit enter yet. I was going to almost take the rook into the wrong spot. I'm going to put the rook in behind pawn number 6 because the queen is in that row, and if the queen moves down to pawn number 6, she'll be right next to the king, and then I'm going to be in checkmate. But with the rook there, there's no way that could happen, because then I can capture the queen. And I'll tell you what, the queen, even if you have this game set on novice level, right now the computer's playing on level 1, that's the default. But even if you have the game set on novice level, the computer queen is still very difficult to capture. It is. You have to make a certain move, or several certain moves, in order to trick the computer to trapping the computer's queen in order to capture it. Alright, so let's see, what do we got now? See now the queen is in front of the king. So I got one option. Yeah, I'm still in luck. I can move my black bishop in front of the king. And then what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to take my other pawn. Well, no, that won't work. No, I can't do that. Because then the pawn would get captured. Okay, the queen moved over. That's surprising, because I was expecting the computer's pawn number 5, which moved over a column. I was expecting him to capture the bishop, but he didn't. So now, what's the next step here? I think what I'm going to do is take the rook. No, I can't. I can't. Because now the queen is at a diagonal move. Oh boy. Okay. I'll take pawn number 7 and move him up there. There. Now, if the computer queen moves down and captures the bishop, then she's got a free opening. Oh boy, she does. She's got a free opening to capture the black bishop. So, although I still got that one pawn left, I got that pawn number 6 left in front of the rook. So maybe, just maybe, I'll be in luck and won't have to worry about losing this game. We'll see. Yeah, I'm not going to move anything there, but I am going to move. Yes, I'm going to move the rook, because the rook, she could capture the rook, and then I'm going to be in trouble. Now I could either move the rook, or I can move the queen to protect the rook. I think I'm just going to go ahead and move the rook, and I'm going to move the rook over. Now let's see. Now, you know what? I'm going to move the queen down. I'm going to move my queen down. And then if she goes after the rook, then I can capture her with my queen. So let's see what happens. Okay. Okay. The pawn now just captured yeah, the computer pawn just captured my black bishop, so now I don't have any bishops left because the queen captured the white one. So now we are in a position that I only have a queen, one rook, and several pawns. And that's not much to work with, I'll tell you. And I can't move the king because no matter which way I move him, it's not going to work. So the king is captured, or the king is stuck for the time being. I can't move him. But I can move. Let's see here. Okay, there. I had to get the square blue on the king. I can move. Let's see. Well, I could get that pawn, but I don't know what kind of position that's going to put me in. The queen might get it, and then I'm going to lose the game anyway. No, I'm not going to move that. I'm going to just move another pawn. It's out of, you know, not even in that area. And I moved pawn number 1 out of my group. That one was never moved yet. So we'll see what happens here. So you could see how more challenging it gets when you lose your more powerful pieces. And those of you that are chess players, I'm sure you know the ins and outs of this game. But I thought it would be neat to show you an animated chess game from the early 90s on DOS. That's why I like this one so much. Because it's got the sound effects. I don't know if you can hear the sounds or not. I'll have to check the video myself and see if it was heard. And if it didn't work out, if this didn't come out real good, we'll do another one. We'll make another video with this with better sound. But let's try to finish this up because I noticed my battery is about halfway full, so we're going to try to finish this up as best we can. Alright, so now the queen has the opportunity to capture the king. So with that, I need to... This is my only choice. I can move this pawn right here to block, and thank goodness the rook is there. So the rook will protect that pawn. Hopefully, as long as she don't make a wrong move. But then I can capture her with the rook. Now I bet you this is going to be a long thinking process on the computer. And sometimes, yeah, well, it wasn't too long. Okay. Oh yeah, the queen moved up. You can see how the queen moved up out of the way. Alright. So now just try to get things moving here a little bit. Let's move this pawn up one space. That's pawn 1 in my group. Okay, now we're going to see what happens on this next move. Bishop's moving. Black bishop caught that first pawn. Alright. So as a result, I lost that pawn. And the thing is, I can't move my queen into a black space because that bishop will capture it. So my queen has to stay on white spaces unless it's on a black space where the bishop isn't located, like on a straight line diagonally. Like I can move the the queen here. I can move her here, and I think I'm going to move her here. Because she'll still be protecting the rook, but she's also in position to capture the computer's bishop. So we're going to see what happens here. Again, the computer's thinking, seeing which move he's going to do. And he's moving. And the bishop moved down one space. Okay, now I'm going to do something really unique. Well, no, it won't work. Well, actually it will, because what I'm going to do, if I lose this pawn, it's not a real big deal, because what I want to try to do in the next move that I make, depending on what the computer does, I want to move my queen up next to the bishop and then see if one of the computer pawns will move out of that space next to the king, which I doubt is going to happen. Let's see. Yeah, there I'm going to lose a pawn. Okay, I just lost my number 2 pawn. So now I'm going to take the queen and I am going to move her in this space here where you saw the blue square. And that's directly in line with the black bishop. I'll tell you, sometimes those bishops are hard to get, depending on their position. It's a lot easier if you have more pieces around, but when there's less pieces, I mean, they can move all over the place, try to get out of the way, and then they sneak up on you and take your piece. That's the one thing about this game, is that it does require a lot of strategy thinking. So let's see. Okay, I'm going to take the queen. Since she's the most powerful, I'm going to go up here. Next to the bishop. Like I said, as long as she's on a white space around the bishop, he can't get her, because that's the black bishop. Now, if it was the white bishop, then I would have to do the opposite. I would have to be on black spaces around the white bishop. Otherwise, she'd be captured. So let's see now what's going to happen here on this move. Okay. Well, the king obviously is trying, or the queen is obviously trying to capture my king. So I'm going to do something a little bit different here. I'm going to take my king and I'm going to capture that pawn. I'd rather do that, because that's the only logical move I can do because of that black bishop. And see, now because I had moved my queen up, she's not protecting the rook. But despite of losing the rook, I still got the most powerful piece that I can use, which is the queen. So we're going to see what we can do here in the last couple of moves here. Okay, my rook is gone. I have no more rooks. I have no more bishops. All I have is a queen and some pawns to work with. But look at this. I can take my queen and I can finally get that bishop. Because the computer queen is on a white space, and my queen just moved to a black space to capture that black bishop. So who knows? This I may win this game. I don't know. Time will tell within these last few moves. Now don't forget, the computer still has a couple more powerful pieces. He's got 2 rooks, as you can see, plus his white bishop. And those pieces haven't even moved. So let's see here. I'm going to move the king. I'll move my king up. Oh, I can't. I should be able to. Oh yeah, I can. Had it selected wrong. There. Okay. Now what I'm going to have to watch is I'm moving my king up closer and closer to those other pieces, and I have to watch so I don't get trapped. Because if the king is trapped, that's how you get checkmate. Alright, so let's see what's happening now. Oh. The computer moved his king. Now this is something you probably all you chess players know, but those of you that don't know about chess that well, on the first move of a king, if you move it just straight over like the computer did, you can move it 2 spaces, and then the rook will walk past the king and go on the other side, just like you saw, to protect the king. So that's one move that I never thought of doing on this game itself. I never thought of trying that. But anyway, let's see, what can we do? Yeah. Now that is, oh, that's a bad move there. I'm looking at it right now. That's a bad move because my queen will be in line with the computer's queen, and she'll get it. So instead, I'm going to move that pawn. And let's see if the computer queen captures that pawn. I doubt it. I doubt it because, like I said, the computer queen is so hard to capture unless you make a strategy move that the computer can't, outsmart. Okay, so now I lost another pawn. I got 2 pawns left plus the queen to protect the king. That's it. That's all I'm working with now. So let's see. I gotta try and capture some of the computer's pieces, but it's gonna be tough because the way it's set up. Well, let's do this anyway. Let's go up. Nope, can't do that. Nope, I can't do that. Yeah, I can move there. That's as far up I can go unless I want to get captured. So that's as far as I can go. I'll have to start moving some of my other pieces. Let's see what happens here. How we doing on... Okay, battery power's still good. Okay, computer rook is now in front of the king. So let's move the king. No, let's not. Yeah, let's move him there. Let's move him there. Less chance of probably the queen getting him. I just gotta watch these pawns. They can be tricky. They can be very, very tricky. Let's see here. Okay. Yep. Queen is after the king somehow. Alright, time to move the king backwards because I can't go any further up. So, let's see. Okay. Oh no, can't do that. Let's see, can't do that. Oh, I can do that. I can go up one more space. Let's see what happens. I bet you I'm going to be trapped this time. Let's see what happens here. Okay, Computer Queen is taking my second to the last pawn that's left. Okay, she's on a white block. The king is on a black block. So I still got a chance that I can move something. Okay. Let's see. I could either move the queen. I don't know what kind of move I can make. Or I can move the pawn. I got two choices left because I can't move the king anyway. But let me see though. Maybe I can. Let's see. Nope. Yeah, I can put the king there. I can put the king there. But that's it. That's the limit right there. Because of those two rooks, I can't capture that white bishop with the king. I could have done it with the queen, but then the queen would have got captured by one of the rooks. And I didn't want to lose the queen either. So, what's going to happen here? It looks like I'm going to be in checkmate. Yep. I'm in checkmate. That's it. I'm done. I'm done. Yep, I lost the game. Well, at least I didn't lose the queen on this one. Sometimes when I play this game, I lose the queen. So, we'll do another series of this game, and we'll try some other moves and see if I can do a game where I actually beat the computer. But for now, we're going to end it because my battery is running low. But I hope you enjoyed this demonstration of battle chess, and I'll be doing more videos as the days go by. So I hope you enjoyed it. If you like it, leave comments, and I'll try to demonstrate some more DOS games or some vintage games, you know, from the early years. And that way you can see what they were like, and you know, if you want to purchase them, I don't know where you'd be able to find them though. You'd probably have to look on eBay or somewhere to find them, or they might now have them virtual. You know, you can play these games online at different websites, but I'm not sure where. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed it, and I will be doing more. So until then, this is MusicMan0150 signing off. And if you like it, click the bell, click the like button, the thumbs up, and leave comments, and we'll be back with more. Thanks for watching, and have a great evening, morning, or afternoon, depending when you're watching. Bye-bye for now.